Hi, and welcome back. I'm going to read chapter 10 of the school story, which is entitled The Chosen Grown Up. Laura Clayton sorted out the remains of her lunch into the recycling bins in the teacher's room. Glass, paper, plastic. As she rinsed her salad container, she caught a glimpse of herself in the mirror above the sink. She looked exhausted. It was her second year teaching, and it was January, and Laura Clayton had to keep reminding herself that she loved her job. Miss Clayton glanced up at the clock, then opened the hallway door and walked briskly toward her classroom. She didn't feel prepared for sixth period. She never felt prepared for sixth period. It was her most challenging group of kids, and the hour between 12:30 and 1:30 was when her daily energy level hit rock bottom. Nothing, not her own years in New York's best private schools, not her bachelor's degree from Barnard College, not her master's degree from Bank Street College, not even her student teaching. Nothing had prepared her for the daily grind of classroom teaching, and especially teaching her sixth grade class on a Monday afternoon. The Deary School emphasized writing, and Laura Clayton agreed wholeheartedly. The curriculum required at least 3 writing assignments per week. Again, Miss Clayton agreed. Writing was a vital skill, but she taught 5 English classes a day to grades 5 through 8. Even though Miss Clayton's average class size was only 13 students, if she gave a simple 1-paragraph writing assignment to each kid, that meant at least 4 hours of reading and commenting and evaluating for her. A group of Laura's friends from Barnard College still lived in the city, and they couldn't understand why she couldn't go out to clubs and shows with them on weeknights anymore. They had jobs at places like banks and ad agencies, department stores, and publishing companies. One of her friends even worked at United Nations. They had jobs where a person could slide by on 4 hours of sleep once in a while. Miss Clayton had tried teaching 5 English classes on 4 hours of sleep once or twice. Now, she knew better. The sound of chirping robins came from the speaker below the clock in Miss Clayton's room. That was the class passing sound for February. 4 years back, the new headmaster had replaced the bell timers with a programmable sound system. So far this year, the passing sounds had been a humpback whale song, the honking of migrating geese, a bouncing basketball, the sounds of bamboo wind chimes, and a Mozart flute solo. The old alarm bell was gone, but chirping birds had the same effect. Kids burst from their wall containers all over the school, and for 7 minutes a cheerful chaos shook both buildings of the Deary School. Then the sound of chirping robins played much louder for the start of class signal, and it magically guided each student to the doorway of another walled container. For 14 of the 6th graders at Deary School, that meant English class in the Linden Room. Miss Clayton braced herself, and 6th period began. 53 minutes later, robins chirped again in the Linden Room. Miss Clayton handed out an assignment sheet explaining how to write a short persuasive essay, and then she dismissed the class. The kids left the room heading for their exercise period, and Miss Clayton picked up an eraser and began clearing the chalkboard. As she methodically swept the board clean, she took stock. Overall, it had been a pretty decent class. They had read editorials on the same subject from 3 different news magazines. They had identified the persuasive words and techniques of each writer. The discussion had been lively, but not too unruly, and the students did most of the talking. All in all, it had been a very good session. And now she had a full hour before her last class of the day. Another Monday was almost over. When Miss Clayton finished erasing the board and turned around, Zoe and Natalie were standing beside her desk. Miss Clayton said, "Yes, girls? What is it?" As arranged, Natalie spoke first. "Miss Clayton, Zoe and I would like to start a writing club, and we were wondering if you could be our advisor." Miss Clayton smiled at them and sat down in her chair. "A writing club? You mean like creative writing?" Natalie nodded. "Yes, that's right, creative writing." Miss Clayton was pleased. Natalie was a talented writer, easily better than any of the other students, even the kids in grades 7 and 8. No matter what writing assignment she gave, Natalie Nelson's work always stood out. She turned to Zoe. Zoe's writing was all right, but it was nothing like Natalie's. Miss Clayton said, "And you, Zoe? You want to be in the writing club too?" Zoe said, "Oh, yes, I do." "And you want to invite students from the upper grades to join?" asked Miss Clayton. "Or are you just thinking of having it be sixth grade club?" Zoe said, "Well, really, we were hoping that it could be just me and Natalie in the club. 'Cause, well, we want it to be more like a publishing club." Miss Clayton's eyebrows went up. "A publishing club?" "Yeah," said Zoe. "Because, you see, well, I mean, you know how Natalie's a great writer. Well, you see, she's almost done with her first novel, and it's a really great novel. It's really, really good. And Natalie's book has got to be published. It's got to. So really, we want to start a publishing club, like I said." Publishing club. Miss Clayton was having trouble getting her mind around the idea. Zoe nodded. "Uh-huh. Natalie's the writer, I'm her agent, and you're her advisor. You help us. You help us get Natalie's book published. So it's a publishing club." Both girls stood waiting. Natalie was blushing, looking down at her feet, embarrassed. Not Zoe. Zoe leaned forward, both her hands on the teacher's desk, looking at Miss Clayton's face. Miss Clayton didn't know what to say. It made sense in a sixth grade sort of way, but somehow she wasn't quite sure why. It felt like trouble. She was just about to start shaking her head, just about to start making excuses, just about to say no thanks, when Zoe reached into her backpack, pulled out Natalie's manuscript, and laid it on the desk. Zoe said, "Well, we've got to run to gym now, so we'll come back and talk to you tomorrow before school. And here's the manuscript. You should read it. It's really good. See you tomorrow." As the robins began chirping from the speaker below the clock, Zoe took Natalie's hand and pulled her toward the doorway. And Miss Clayton gave them a wave and a half-dazed little smile and said, "Yes, fine. See you tomorrow." And that ends chapter 10 of School Story. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.